Have you ever felt like you're giving everything to a dream, but nothing's moving forward? Like you're stuck in the same place wondering if God really called you to do this? Today, I want to get real about those seasons of feeling stagnant, the doubt of waiting, and the faith it takes to keep moving forward and keep believing, even when you don't see growth. Because sometimes it's in that silence is where God is doing his best work. Welcome to the What's Good Family Podcast. My name is DJ. For those of y'all who've made it thus far, because I'm pretty sure some, once I post it, some are going to keep scrolling, some won't view it. But thank you. And it's been a journey. This has been a very trying thing for me because I've had to come out my shell in doing this. And I'm grateful to the support that I've gotten thus far. I'm grateful to the 66, 67 subscribers we have. And I just want to kind of take this time to get real. No real, no big topics, just having a moment to just speak on how I'm feeling. This podcasting thing, content creating, however you want to call it, it's a beast. That's the best way to put it. It's a beast, especially when you're not looking for a viral trend and you're looking to build a community that will engage with you and you with them. It can be difficult, especially when you're trying to present your most authentic self. It gets to the point where sometimes, man, you feel down. You're like, why am I doing this? What am I doing it for? What's the purpose if nobody's listening, if nobody's commenting? What am I doing this for? I've been on TikTok and trying to expand on TikTok. And, I did a live, and like I told one person, it felt like the weirdo sitting in the corner with the holding the sign up, hey, come talk to me. And yeah, I'm like, it was at that moment where I'm like, man, is this worth it? Is this really, really worth it? Is this meant for me to do? Because I feel like I'm not growing. But it was in that same breath that I thought about it, that I heard a voice talk to me and say, you don't want to build fast. You don't want to become a trend, because then you're going to have to keep doing trending things trying to remain on top. You want to present yourself in your most authentic way and be candid, be real, and who you reach is who you reach. So again, I was brought back to myself, because it's like, man, I've said it multiple times, but I'm really having to exercise patience, and I'm having to take a step back and look at the bigger picture. And the bigger picture is, I want this podcast to be successful because, of course, I'm pouring my heart and soul into it, but because I enjoy doing what I'm doing. So then it got me asking, how do you define success? What exactly is success to you? And I feel like that was a very profound question. Like, when I say successful, what do I mean by I want to be successful? What do I mean by I want this podcast to be successful? Am I looking to get monetized? Am I looking to gain more followers? What exactly is success? And the honest answer for success for me, it's not the monetization, which, I mean, that's a plus. If I can generate another income doing this, that's fine. It's not the monetization. It's knowing that I'm putting out something and it may help somebody or make somebody laugh. So I'm more so doing this so I can, for the feedback, to let somebody know you're not in this alone. I know for me, in my journey of life, there's been certain things in certain periods of my life where I've felt alone, and I had nobody to talk to, nobody to turn to, and I was just stuck there in this, we'll call it the sunken place, trying to make heads and tails of what I wanted to do or what I wanted to be, where I wanted to go. And it's been a journey to get here. I mean, I've done mute, I dropped beats, I've worked in the military. I'm currently working in the refineries. I mean, so I learned it's not the job that makes the man, because it's not. It's doing a job that at the end of the day you can be proud of. You know, my dad and my grandpa and my grandmas and my mom all told me, not at the same time, but at different times, find something that you don't mind doing for free, and that's what you're meant to be doing. I genuinely love talking to other people. You know, for anybody who saw last week's episode, you saw I had a conversation with a gentleman who thinks entirely different from me. And that was the best part of it. We weren't of like minds, you know, trying to see where does this person get his opinions from, or how does he formulate his mindset. Like, just that was intriguing to me, because I understand that people, we're not all gonna think the same. I mean, if we did, it'll be a boring place. And there are certain things I try to stray away from, which I had to address in that episode, because, you know, I want to grow. And sometimes in growing, we have to face the uncomfortability of growth. We have to stand 10 toes down, and we have to go through these uncomfortable moments. I mean, in some instances, they could be defining moments, because it can determine how will you handle this going forward. God gives the tough situations to the tough people. I mean, that's a fair assessment. I say God doesn't put more on you than what you can handle. And if the load does get too heavy, you lean and depend on him. Which brings me to this next point that I wanted to make was, who are you leaning on in pursuing your goals? Are you solely dependent on self to get to where you want to get to? Or are you leaning on to a higher power, something greater than yourself? For me, yeah, it's my goal. It's the dream that I have, but it's a dream that was given to me, I believe, by God. It's something that He laid on my heart to do, and that's why I'm pushing forward. But the problem is, even in knowing that, even in knowing, hey, you know what, God called me to do this, I believe this is what He has for me to do, it's still the whole idea of moving forward and doing it and going forward with it and toughening it out, because it's like, man, I'm so uncomfortable. Man, I just want to shrink back and just scrap it. You know what? Delete it all. Take the YouTube post down, take the TikTok down, and just go back to what it was doing before I started this journey. But then I'm brought back to one of the things I always say: winners never quit and quitters never win. So you can't win if you quit. You'll never be successful. That is just not possible. So it's like, how do I keep pressing? I've gotten into the habit now. Of course, I pray every day, but in spite of what I'm feeling, I'm gonna put something out there. I'm gonna keep putting. I'm gonna keep pushing and keep going and keep posting. And, that's one of the biggest things I've seen on TikTok. A lot of people will say, regardless of how you're feeling, keep posting. Keep posting. Even if your family ain't supporting you, keep posting. Even if that best friend you've known for a long time ain't rocking with your content, keep posting. Because it's gonna hit. It's gonna hit, and you'll eventually build your community. I feel a lot of times, I'll speak for myself, I feel that it's not so much the community building that's hard. It's, dang it, this is taking a long time. Why can't people just gravitate to me automatically? I mean, this is who I am, but they don't know that, so I'm like, okay, I'm gonna take this seriously. I'm gonna put my best foot forward, because I want to win at the end of the day. I want to be successful. I want this podcast to be successful. I have goals that I'm trying to achieve. And for me, another thing that inspires me is my kids. I have wonderful children, children that I love so much. And one of the things that my wife has always told me, practice what you preach. If you're going to encourage the kids to go out there and pursue their dreams, why won't you do the same? Why are you going to shortchange yourself and not live up to the words that you teach these children? And don't get me wrong, for a while there, I used every excuse I could in the book. Oh, well, I'm a dad. I'm working long hours. I don't have the time to. But my wife hit me. My wife's rebuttal was always, you make time for what you want to make time for. Wow. Yeah. I'm like, you know what? You're right. So here I am doing what I feel I've been called to do. And I'm not trying to make this some spiritual episode or anything like that. Like, nah. I say called to do because there's people, let's be honest. There are naturally talented people in the world. We are all made the same, but some people are just more talented than others. It is what it is. Some people are given gifts from birth. Now, the question is, does natural talent, overshadow hard work? Or is it with hard work, you can possibly surpass natural talent? Now, if a person is naturally talented and they work to hone their craft, I'm sorry, there may not be no catching up to them. Because they have such a big lead. But if a person is naturally talented and they don't do nothing to hone the craft, whereas you may not be as talented or have the same talent, but you work to perfect the craft, I think you can surpass natural talent. Growing up, public speaking was not one of my things. I was that kid at school when we would read books, we would read the books out loud, and we would go in line, go row by row. And I was the kid, I would count up ahead, like, okay, he's gonna read this, he's gonna read that, he's gonna read that. And then I would go and find the spot that I'm gonna read, and then I'll read over it and commit it to memory. So that way when I'm reading, I'm not stuttering or tripping over words or anything. That was the kid I was, because I didn't want to get made fun of for stuttering and stuff like that. So public speaking, if you would have told me, hey, you're going to be a public speaker when you grow up, I would have laughed at you, because I didn't see it. But again, here I am doing a form of public speaking. And if you've watched me long enough, you'll know I stutter, I trip up on words, I have brain farts in the middle of sentences. And I don't take that out because I feel it gives it more authenticity. There you go. I just started again. So it's like, I say that to say, in pursuing our dreams, at least for me, in pursuing my dreams, I get so caught up on what I'm not doing or how I'm so imperfect for what I'm doing. But yet it's like it's a contradiction. It's like I feel imperfect for what I'm doing, but yet I'm still doing it. So I'm pretty sure if you've made it this far, some people will probably be like, if you feel imperfect for what you're doing, then why are you doing it? Obviously, you must not feel it. No, I really do. But I feel that in order to get better, I have to keep going. Believe it or not, when I first started, my first episode was straight audio. Like, I recorded myself, but I took the video down, just grabbed the audio file and posted it, because I didn't want my face to be attached to the podcast, because I wanted people to hear me off of what I was saying and not how I looked, because I don't feel like I am the most handsome thing walking the streets. Yes, I know that's a form of low confidence that I'm working on, but still, that was the whole purpose of doing the audio when I first started. And I got 3 episodes in with audio. And I was like, yo, nobody is listening. Like, I don't even have 1 view. Like, this is bad. So I I drew my courage because I think my fourth episode I did with my daughter. And that was the first video episode I did. And believe it or not, I drew my courage from being on the podcast with her. Like she gave me courage to show my face. She was like, she didn't care, you know. She was just, hey, we're gonna record an episode. Cool, I'm gonna record an episode with my dad. But me, I was like, oh man, I'm gonna show my face. My hair ain't done. I don't look presentable. I'm not camera ready. And da 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 da. Like so many things were going through my mind at the time. And I was just like, and my daughter was like, you ready, Dad? And I was like, yeah, baby, I'm ready. I'm ready. And so like we recorded the episode and it wasn't bad. And then I did another one with my grandma, and then I did another one with my boy Dominic, who y'all have seen him on multiple episodes. And it's like, okay, this isn't as bad. Now, TikTok Live, no, that's a whole nother animal. That's a whole nother beast. Like, yo, to do TikTok Live, you gotta have some grit because it's like, okay, I'm gonna be in a room like I'm doing a podcast episode, and you to actually see people join, leave, join, leave, join, leave, join, leave. You're like, hey, hi, hello, hey, what's yo? It's really like that, especially if you don't have your own community yet. So I'm in the building process, but I got off topic. But like I was saying, I started doing video because I grew comfortable with the people around me. And I'm like, hey, you know what? The worst thing somebody can do is not listen. That's it. That's the worst. That's the worst that can happen. Somebody doesn't listen. You know, I've gotten maybe 2 comments, 3 comments from people, feedback. My first one was negative. I was like, awesome sauce. I got a negative comment. At least you watched the video. So I was cool with it. No, but I've also gained a lot of support. I want to take this time out for real, like to shout out my boy Corey Carter from Rapid Rants and his co-host Blaze Hunter, Quashana. I want to thank all of y'all. My boy Dominic and AJ. They're like my co-hosts. And yo, they have all been very supportive to me. And also my wife, you know, my wife and my family, because they give me feedback. My wife and my kids like give me whenever they do watch it, they give me feedback. So it's awesome. You know, I can't speak to the rest of my family. I don't even know if they watch them or not. I mean, if they do, they haven't said anything. So, but the feedback I have gotten from people, you know, those people, it means the world to me because I don't feel like I'm speaking into a void. And that can be a hard thing, you know, especially doing this. You know, it can feel like you're speaking into a vacuum. Like that's why I try to have a guest or somebody on there with me because you know this right I'm doing right now a whole monologue episode is like you know I don't really have nothing punchy to say, but I mean it is what it is. You'll notice throughout this whole episode I'm kind of all over the place emotionally and mentally, not in a bad way, but because I'm still, even as we're talking right now, I'm still pushing past my limits. I'm still pushing through it because I feel like, what am I doing it for? Like there's that voice in the back of my head right now, like, bro, you're doing this and ain't nobody gonna watch it. You're gonna get maybe 1 or 2 views. But this one may be different. I don't know. You know, this thing is a hit and miss. So I'm gonna keep swinging until I get a home run. Yeah, it's eventually gonna come. It got to come because persistence is key. Slow and steady wins the race. You could get something quick and fast, but that don't mean it's gonna last. So, man, I appreciate those of y'all who made it this far. So, I'm gonna end it with saying, keep going in spite of. Keep moving forward in spite of. If you believe that God has called you to do something, do it. Don't sit on it. Do it. Go out there and pursue it. Because if you don't pursue it and if you don't move forward on it, you'll never know if you're good at it. The idea that the idea that somebody's gonna come and you know what? Come here, you look like you could do this. I want to give you a shot. Nah, opportunity. I'm not gonna say it doesn't, but opportunity hasn't presented itself to me like that. So I'm not gonna move as if it does. I'm gonna keep the mindset that giving our situation and our circumstances, we have the possibility to generate an opportunity for ourselves. Or the old saying goes, your talent will make way for you. Now, again, I still think some people are more talented than others. Not saying that everybody isn't talented, but I mean, your talent will make way for you. At least that's what I've been told. And that's what I think. So I'm going to go with that. But all right, as I've been saying, if you're new to this, go on and hit that like, follow, share, and subscribe button. And leave me a comment. Let me know what you think. If you're true to this, go on and hit that comment section. Let me know your thoughts. Engage with me and I'll engage with you. You can also find me on TikTok. Same thing, What's Good Family Podcast. And we can engage there. I'm going to start doing more lives to try to gain more engagement. And I look forward to talking to y'all. And let's grow this thing together. All right. Peace.